Hello friends, hello, welcome back to our little coffee club. Today we're gonna try to review another one of the coffees from Hawaii, from Big Island Coffee Roasters. We're gonna review the Maui coffee. This coffee I've never tried before. I don't think I have. I don't think I've ever tried Maui coffee, but it's another region in Hawaii that produces coffee. And like I said on the last video, Big Island Coffee Roasters, they roast coffee for themselves from their farm and from the surrounding areas. So when you order from them, you can try a lot of different coffees. You can try coffee from Kona, Maui, from Kau, and a lot of the regions that produce coffee there in Hawaii. So I think the last coffee that we tried, the one from Kona, was pretty good. Again, not spectacular, and I don't think I brewed it. Also, I have to fine tune my brewing. I've already made it a couple of times as pour over, and I definitely did get more out of it if I brewed it a little bit cooler. So I went down to, well, first I went down to 96, then I ended up going down to 94 degrees on my fellow stag as far as water temperature. And I ground it a little bit coarser. First I was at 6.5 or 65 clicks on the K+. I went to 70, and then I ended up all the way at 75. I was getting just under 4 minutes brew time, again with the temperature of 94 degrees. And you know, I got a lot more out of it. It was, acidity came up, the tasting notes came up a bit, and I liked it better right there. So that's pretty much dialed in. I haven't had a chance to play with it anymore as espresso, so I'll have to report back as far as that. And we'll see what we get from this one today. But since I learned my lesson from last time, today we'll try to implement some of the stuff we learned, and I'll try to brew this one. Well, first we got to check on the roasting level, okay? But assuming that it's about the same, I'll probably go a little bit cooler water and try to grind. Maybe you know, to start, maybe we'll go at 70 clicks on the K+, and we'll start it at maybe 96 degrees as far as temperature, and see what we get from it there. Being that it looks roughly the same as the other one, we'll have to open the bag and see what the roast level is like. Something else that I've been meaning to tell you guys about is on these two types of coffee filters. Well, I have to explain a little bit, like why do I have both kinds, and why would you want to do this? Like, you know, but I'll get into all of that after I have some coffee. Let's go ahead and get to the other counter, and I'm gonna turn this one into this one pretty much, and we'll talk about it a little bit more once I have some caffeine in me. So let's go to the other counter and do some let's do a pour over on the origami. Again, I'll go with my usual recipe that I always go with. 3 pours of 100 grams each, 20 grams in, 300 grams out. That's a 1 to 15. Oh, another thing is, I think, you know, one thing I might try on the Kona coffee is maybe I might try a 1 to 16 on that one. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep dialing in. You know, you keep tweaking until pretty much you're out of coffee. It's what we do. So let's get to the other counter, grind some coffee, and let's see what we get from this one. All right, so first of all, let's talk about why will you want to do this. Well, it's not something you want to do. It's something that you might have to do. And I'll explain a little bit. So you might run out to your local grocery store and try to pick up some quick filters because you ran out, okay? And they don't have this. They don't have this. What they have is this. And then you're like, wow, either I try to make this work or I have no coffee today. So we're gonna try to make it work. That's one reason. Now the other reason is what happened to me, okay? Here it is. So, you know how sometimes, you know, let me drink this coffee first, and then I'm gonna tell you guys this story of what happened to me and why I had to come up with this. But let me show you how to fold this into this. By the way, I thought it was gonna slow down my drawdown a whole bunch, but it really doesn't, okay? So don't worry too much that it's gonna become like really slow. It doesn't. Maybe a tiny bit, but not by much. So yeah, that was my only concern I had, that maybe, you know, the drawdown would slow down a whole bunch, and I will have to grind really coarse, and you know, you don't want to do that. You might not get the right extraction. So, but it doesn't happen. So just, if this happens to you, just, you know, you can make it work. And let me show you how to fold this thing. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is fold the end over, because you don't want this fold the end over. You don't want this to be your seam at the bottom. So fold it over like this. Okay, that's your first fold. Then what I like to do, I do like a paper plane, okay, like making a paper plane. So you kind of put the two ends together like this. That's your next fold. Although this fold is just, you'll see, it's like a guide. Just like when you're making a paper plane. Well, on a paper plane, I guess it does end up being the bottom of the plane. So, but here it's not gonna, it's just a guide. Because now, what you wanna do is fold both of these, kind of like when you make a paper plane, okay, you're gonna go in, and this gives you the guide as to where the metal is, okay? So you fold the ends over. You know, I can already see it. This is one of the things I want to talk about today, but I think I need to be fully caffeinated to go over this. But I can already see somebody in the comments, what is this guy retarded? What is he doing? We're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna have some fun today. Just wait until I get warmed up here. All right. So you make the bottom of the, you know, I guess the tip of your airplane. You make the tip of your airplane, all right? So we folded the bottom like this, okay? Then we did the fold in the middle to give you the guide. Then we brought in the ends like this. Now that gives you your cone shape right there, you see? And believe me, this works perfect. I'll explain more. Give me a chance here. But okay, once you got this, now you open it up. And you kind of go the other way. And then I always press the tip down to make sure that stays like that and it's real nice and sharp edge there. And then you open it up and you have a cone filter. Okay, and this works perfect, believe me. In a second, I'll wash the filter and we'll do the whole thing. So, all right, I'm gonna use this today so I can show you guys. Okay, so I'm being very careful as to not look at the tasting notes because you know we're gonna guess on them in a little bit. Okay, so I opened the bag and you know, right away, the smell is not quite as strong as it was on the Kona, but there is some nice aroma here. Yeah, definitely smells really good. Not as strong though. The Kona, when I opened that bag, it was like, wow, what's going on here? Okay, let me put some on the counter so we can look at the roast level. But from looking at it, kind of the same. Now these beans are a little bit smaller. Those Kona beans were a lot, they seem to me a lot bigger than these. These are tiny little beans. But the roast level, to me, looks roughly the same. Let me give you guys a close-up. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's focused there. And you guys could see them. Okay, so yeah, I would say roast level, pretty much roughly the same like last time. Okay, so I'm pleasantly surprised that these guys roast their coffee a bit lighter than I was expecting, because again, this is what I wanted, because I want to make mostly pour overs with these, you know, mostly filtered coffee. You guys know espresso for me is like a weekend thing. I don't make espresso every day, but I do make filtered coffee every single morning, so I always have to have a lot more of this on tap. So let's weigh out 20 grams and we're gonna grind it on the K Plus in a second. And again, you guys can see the little dot there. We're on 7. So that's 70 clicks on the Espresso K Plus hand grinder, which I love for my filtered coffee. All right, so let's weigh out our 20 grams. Oh yeah, we're gonna, I almost did it. If you've been on the channel long enough, you know, I almost made a mistake there. All right, let's weigh into here so we can check retention. I know. If you're new to the channel, you know that retention is not really a thing on hand grinders, but over here we always check retention. People love it. It's everyone's favorite part of the video. Oh, we lost a bean. Oh well. I hate wastage, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so we're getting to 8 grams. Okay, 20 grams exactly. Okay, last time I ended up putting the coffee, I ended up putting the coffee into one of the fellow Atmos little canisters, and that's where it still is. This one might go into my other little canister, or I have some other little containers I can keep it in that make a pretty decent seal. None of them as good as the fellow Atmos, but they do make a pretty good seal. And I have told you guys that, you know, I think it's a little bit overrated. The people that get overly concerned with consuming their coffee 2 weeks off of roast and then consume it within the first 2 weeks after that. So like a month, the coffee has to be gone. I think that's a little bit overrated, because in my experience now, I've been trying different specialty coffees now for quite a while, a bunch of months. And I've tried a whole bunch of different kinds. And in my experience, sometimes after like a couple of months, you end up getting the best brews from that coffee. So I think it's a little overrated. All right, so let's go ahead and grind. So yeah, best practices, yeah, maybe, you know, start consuming your coffee like 2 weeks off roast and finish it like 2 weeks later. So that is, you know, best case scenario, but doesn't always have to be like that. And as a matter of fact, all coffees are not the same. Some of them might not even be at their best doing it that way, okay? This one's only like a week off roast. This coffee's like a bit fresh, but it is what it is. I gotta try it. Okay, again, just like last time, it looks really light, but the coffee is not too dense. Pretty easy to grind. So yeah, 20 grams for filtered usually always takes somewhere around 30 seconds. Just spin it, make sure it's really loose like this. That means everything went through. Tap it on the bottom. And then the last thing that I like doing, I tap it like this. Just make sure everything's went through. You spin the spindle. If it's spinning freely, you know that you know, everything went through. So. Okay, so to get everything set up, I'm gonna have to back the camera up and try to get a different angle. Although, well, I don't like it when I back it up either, because what happens is that then it's far from me and the audio might not be great. But today I'll try to give you guys that kind of angle. I won't talk as much until I get back to the other counter. All right, so you see that angle is great, but I have to be kind of close to the camera. If not, if I'm way over here where I'm doing my thing, it just doesn't sound the same, but we'll try it. We'll see what happens today. I'm noticing I could set this thing up more towards the metal here. Okay, let's try this today. We'll see, maybe I'm all wrong. Maybe it sounds the same. If it does, then I will do this angle from now on when I'm doing pour overs, so you guys kind of see a little bit better the kettle and everything else. Okay, so here's our our funny cone filter. Oh man, I know somebody in the comments is gonna say something crazy. You know, I only have like 300 followers. How can I still get like mean comments? I don't even get it. It's not from you guys. I know it's not you guys. You guys that have been enjoying the videos. And you know, I get a laugh. I do get a laugh. I don't want to get into all this until I'm done here. Let's finish this process. Okay, so I just noticed that I had the wrong temperature set. I said I was gonna do 96. So I brought it down 2 clicks, but let's use the water and rinse, and then it'll be fine. Okay, just kind of make sure that the filter is sticking to the walls of the brewer, and it works just fine. Now, like really, it looks just the same like when you use a regular Pario V60 filter, like one of these. It's pretty much the same thing. I forgot to get my glass. All right, so the next step, we get the water from in here into the glass so it can start warming up. Okay, that will start heating up the glass. Okay, oh, you know what? I had told you guys we were gonna check retention. Man, sometimes I'm recording and especially like this. Today, you know, I'm recording and I haven't had any coffee. I really need some. And all right, let's weigh it. I can still do it. Let's weigh it and check the retention. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put this on here. It's already on 0 because I tore the scale. So now I'm gonna put the coffee from here to here. It should weigh 20 grams. Let's get the last of the little dust on there. Oh, I'm gonna do a little WDT. So I like to declump things in the little cup before putting it into the brewer, because that way you make sure everything's already nice and fluffy. I think it helps with the extraction. It's quick and easy, so why not? Okay, here we go. All right, I'm gonna show you guys because I know that some people, you know, they're like, oh, maybe, I don't know, I didn't get to see that. Let me show you guys. Okay, I hope that's focused there, but you could see it's bouncing between 19.9 and 20, which I think is pretty much exactly what we put in. So pretty much what we put in is what we got out. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is make that little divot that I like to make in the middle. I use a chopstick and just make a little divot. I'm gonna start pouring right into the divot as my first pour. Okay, so we do 3 pours of 100 grams. So I'm gonna tear the scale, we're at 0, I'm gonna start the timer. Hopefully we finish in about 4 minutes. Okay, the water's at 96 now. Okay, it's at 105 grams. Let's see if I can show you guys a little bit of the bloom. Let's try to get a little clip with my phone. It's almost drained all the way through already. I'm gonna have to start with the second pour. But we're about a minute in, and you see some degassing happening. Coffee's quite fresh. Let me see if I can hold the phone here and get it from this angle as far as my second pour. Okay, so now we just wash the sides. Let's do some swirls. Okay, so we ended up just short of 200 grams. We're about a minute and a half in. I gotta do some agitation and then we do our third pour. Just do some swirls. You can also do some wet WDT technique. Just use your WDT and kind of move the coffee around a bit. That also helps. Okay, we're done with the second drawdown. Let's do the third pour. Oh, it smells great, guys. All right, I don't always go this slow. I kind of, you know, I'm trying to talk and film and get the angles. You know, filter coffee is a lot more forgiving than espresso. With espresso, you gotta kind of have to be on your game or things are not gonna go well. With pour overs, you have a lot more, flexibility. Okay, so we're at 3:45, about to hit the 4-minute mark. All right, so I wanted to show you guys how it ended up, how the bed ended up and how it looks after the brewing process. And it's not muddy at all. It looks very, very nice, nice and flat. There you could see a little bit of the color. So yeah, that's what we ended up like. Let's go ahead, get to the other counter, serve some of this coffee, and then we'll chit chat a little bit. All right, let's give it a nice swirl and let's serve it up. I hope you guys are joining me here with something tasty of your own. I hope I can keep you company for the next few minutes here. We'll try to have a little bit of fun. We'll see how we do on the tasty notes in a few minutes here. And well, when I opened the bag, had a little less aroma than the Kona. But after I brewed it, it has a little more aroma than the Kona. Yeah, a little bit more than the Kona. I didn't get much from it once I brewed it. I did as espresso. As filtered, not a whole bunch. All right, first impressions. I think I did a little better job with this one. This is kind of like what I got from the Kona the last time I brewed it. I've already brewed it 3 times, and every time I kept speeding it up a little bit. I kept on grinding it a little bit coarser, and I kept on lowering the water temperature a bit, and it got better. So this one is kind of like the last brew that I made on the Kona. So yeah, because the tasting notes are a little bit more there, and the acidity, I think it has a little less acidity than the Kona, but it's close. Okay, so I'm letting it cool a little bit. It's still quite hot. Okay, so tasting notes. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's very similar to the other one. Okay, it is very similar to the Kona. There's definitely not like citrus. This is a fruitier coffee, sweeter coffee. It's a little bit more like a fruit juice quality to it. Definitely sweet, smooth. It doesn't have, and again, this is a wash coffee. All the 3 that I received from Big Island Coffee Roasters, all the 3 are washed coffees, and so far the roast level, at least on the Kona and on this one from Maui, they're very similar, and so far the taste is very similar. But if you had them side by side, you could point out some differences. But one thing for sure, they're both very sweet and smooth. The highs and lows are not, they're not very peaky. You don't get a big hit of acidity, which I kind of like. I kind of like you get that first hit of acidity and then it smooths out. So you don't keep getting bombarded by just straight acidity. That I don't like. That's when I know I need to make the coffee a little bit sweeter, because I do like to get that upfront acidity, then for it to kind of, smooth out, become nice, smooth, and then end up with a nice sweet finish. That's my favorite. I would say that when it comes to filter, those are my favorite tasting notes when kind of works that way. This one, the acidity is not quite as peaky as some other coffees. Definitely not citrusy, so it's fruity, sweet, and smooth, because you also don't get, well, there is no bitterness here at all. Yeah, no bitterness. You do get that little bit of acidity, and then it just gets sweet, smooth finish. Not a whole bunch happening at the end. Or if I had to guess at some kind of fruit or something, wow, I don't know. I really don't know as far as what kind of fruit. We'll see once it's suggested to me. Last time, I think it was apricot, right? Apricot, and I didn't get that. Once it's suggested, then you kind of like look for it, and you kind of maybe so, kind of thing. But I can't give myself the credit for that. Now it's had a chance to cool now, and I am getting like a little nuttiness to it. Yeah, for sure, a little nuttiness to it. Yeah. So, and right now at this temperature, if it gets any colder, it's already like a little bit, too cold for my, for my preference. So let's look at the tasting notes. And let's see what they have to say. Now, the other coffee had a bunch of tasting notes. There was a bunch of things. And here, there's a lot of stuff too. So, let's see what they got. Okay, vanilla wafers. Vanilla. I don't know, because I don't think I'm getting any kind of vanilla here. Let me see. Maybe you could say that, but it's not something I would say. Let's keep going. So vanilla wafers, biscotti. Biscotti, biscottis could have, as far as I know, they could have a lot of different flavors. They're not all the same. So it's like, all right. Walnuts and raisins. Okay, see, that's where I'm at. Definitely, I do sense a little nuttiness to it. There is a sweetness for sure. Could you say raisins? Perhaps. So walnuts and raisins. I agree with that for sure. Mild acidity, nice and smooth, sweet coffee. Walnuts and raisins, definitely. I'm agree with that. Mellow honeyed sweetness. So mellow honeyed sweetness. I'm agree with that too, because that's pretty much what I'm getting. Now, as far as the vanilla and biscotti, I don't know. I don't get that, but we'll see what we get from espresso. But again, if I didn't get it from the filtered, I doubt it I'm gonna get it from espresso, because I'm pretty bad when it comes to tasting notes with filtered, but I'm even worse when it comes to espresso. So, but you know what? I think today I held my own. Yeah, for sure. I think today I did pretty well. All right, you guys saw last week's video. I think I broke my record, marathon. It was over an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I was able to keep you company for a while. If you haven't made some coffee just yet, I'm gonna give you a little intermission right here. Put the video on pause, okay? Oh, by the way, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Please, that'll help us out, okay? But put the video on pause, make yourself something tasty. Let me finish the rest of the filtered coffee. Then I'll meet you guys back at the other counter, and we'll do some puck prep and all that good stuff. We'll pull a shot of espresso. I can feel the caffeine already bringing me to life here. And then we're gonna do some chit-chatting, and we'll try to have some fun. So stick around. Okay, so I'm done with the filtered coffee. That was pretty wonderful. And now we're gonna get ready for a shot of espresso. So let's dose out 18 grams. Okay, again, the niche is set at at 14, which is basically what I'm gonna try for that Kona coffee. Once I make it as espresso again, I'm gonna try it at 14. We have to speed up the shot quite a bit, if you guys remember. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure if I have already shown you guys last week's shot. I don't think so. I think I'm gonna insert it in the video right here. And so yeah, let's go ahead and let me show you guys what happened last week. It was kind of a long shot, I know that. But it was, to me, it was tasty, but it was a little bit over extracted and there was some bitterness to it. Again, as far as water temperature, I'm gonna try again at 95 like I did. And this one today, I'm gonna try also at 95 to start with, and then we'll see. But I don't think it's anything to do with the water temperature as far as last week's shot. It's mostly just the timing. It was too slow. I have to speed it up. So, but let me show you guys that shot in full screen, because I did not notice, once again, I didn't notice any channeling whatsoever. You know, I think moving forward, I might always go to both WDT tools, use the long needles to declump in the cup, and then when I put it into the portafilter, then I use the thin needles, and then Passato helps me out, helps me out with that part. So today I'm gonna try the Passato tamper once again, see if I keep practicing with that, maybe I do a better job. So let's go ahead and roll that clip from last week. Remember, I always include the audio from last week, so if you hear me talking, that was what I was saying at the time when I was brewing the shot. All right, so let's start the shot. Again, we're shooting for 25-second pre-infusion. Once it starts to build pressure, I'll try to level it off at around 2.5 bar. Okay, right there we're around 2.5 bar. At 25 seconds, I'm gonna ramp up. Okay, here we go. Let's try to take it to 9 bars. Okay, right there we're at 9 bars. We're gonna shoot for 45 grams out, and hopefully from first drip. So this timer, hopefully it'll read something around, 35 seconds. I was talking and I let the pressure drop again. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna have to grind a bit coarser, no doubt about that. This is gonna be way long of a shot, but in my experience so far, that doesn't mean I'm not gonna like it. Maybe it's gonna be perfectly tasty to me, as long as it doesn't get bitter. If it gets bitter, then next time I know what to do. As far as the colors in the cup, wow, it looks awesome. Obviously, this coffee is very, very fresh, so. Okay, so we got our 45 grams. It took a whole minute from first drip, 1.5 minutes. Yes, guys, I know this is ridiculous kind of timing. I gotta speed it up quite a bit. So I'm grinding at 12 today. Maybe next time I go all the way to 15 and see what happens, or 14, at least 14. All right, so what did you guys think? I didn't see any channeling. You guys let me know if you spotted anything, but again, there was nothing at all on my counter, on the espresso machine, or anywhere that I could see. And looking back at the shot, I didn't see any channeling whatsoever. And that shot ended up brewing so pretty. I mean, it looks so nice in the cup, So we'll see what we get today. Let's go ahead and dose out our 18 grams. Yeah, so for sure the coffee, I'm gonna agree with the tasty notes, except for the, the biscotti and the vanilla wafers. But for sure, as the walnut and raisins and the mellow honey sweetness, for sure. I didn't particularly kind of see it like being honey kind of sweetness, but sure, why not? All right, so we're in between 18 and 18.1. Let's grind it and see what we get from the niche. still have to get a new candle, guys. It's running out. And look, once again, look at how sad. Pasado, come on, Pasado. All right, let's see what we got. Whoa, we had a lot of retention today. Okay. Again, I cleaned it out. I cleaned the niche out recently, and perhaps that's part of the reason why. But let's see if I do the bellows and I use the right technique today. If you're watching my video and you're still here after like this many minutes, you know about this. I'm pretty sure you know about this. But this is like a little medical device that people recommend to use as bellows on the niche to kind of help with if you get retention, which again, usually on the niche, almost always you're gonna get maybe a 0.1, maybe a 0.2, and every now and then even a 0.3, but more than that is super rare. So, but if it happens, you can use one of these little plungers. Now, Iceman told me that just use it nice and easy, like this, and though, like at the beginning, I was doing this a bit too aggressively, and a lot of dust came out everywhere. I made a mess. So, but if you do it correctly, it doesn't make a mess, and usually it helps with retention. But today, what did we get? Like another 0.1 out. So yeah, we're still a little bit off. I'm gonna throw a couple beans in there, and then I'll adjust it with the spoon or whatever. But I want to be closer to my 18 grams. So, like I said, I just cleaned out the niche. So since it was spotless in there, there's always, even though they call it the niche 0, it's almost 0. It's not really, it does, you will get some retention here and there. Now, once you've been using it for a few times, then it just almost always you're gonna, whatever you put in is what you get out. But, especially if you cleaned it out and you got all the coffee grounds out of there, then, you're gonna have get some buildup back in there on the burrs and a little bit of the nooks and crannies. And while that happens, you will have some retention, so you always should check it. So, okay, I need a 0.3. Let me run a couple beans and then I'll adjust it. All right, here we go. We got 3 little beans. Let's check it. Okay, exactly 18. So I got lucky. I don't have to adjust anything. It's exactly at 18 grams. So let's do some pug prep. Wow, this smells amazing right now, guys. Like seriously, wow. Man. Oh, something I wanted to mention. Wow, I'm glad I didn't forget. So, I showed you guys again last week's shot, right? So I'm pretty sure you guys noticed how the scale, it didn't stop right away. It stopped brewing, but it kept timing for like another, I don't know, I think it was like another 10 seconds to maybe even 15 seconds, something like that extra, that it should have just stopped. Those are the kind of little things that I keep saying that, the difference between the Akaya and the Timor. And I love my little Timor, but you guys saw a perfect example right there, right? Those little annoying things that is just not quite as polished as the Akaya. With the Akaya, we're gonna go back to the Akaya today, we'll see, but so far, it hasn't done any weird kind of glitch or kind of stuff. You put your cup on there, it tears, you start pulling your shot, as soon as it drips, it starts timing, when it stops, and that's it, and there's no glitches, no kind of like, the little weird kind of things that happens with the Timor. So that's why I already called it. The Akaya is definitely better. If you want something that's just like bulletproof, is always on point, the Akaya will get the job done for sure. If you don't care as much, the Timor is a perfectly good choice. It's sold for for what I think is very reasonable price for what you get. You get a lot for your money there. But again, you can just buy from Amazon a $10 scale, start it yourself, and use your phone to time the shot like I did before, and that works perfectly fine. You get good at it, and you're not gonna have any kind of problem whatsoever. And that's all you need, $10, and use your phone for timing. But I really love the automatic espresso mode on both scales. And it's the reason why I got them, really, because then I can concentrate on well, nowadays, nowadays, there's a lot more things going on, right? So I'm really glad I got it, because then all I have to worry about is kind of like the pressure profiling and that kind of stuff. I don't have to like worry about timing and stop the time and start the time and all the stuff. Make sure you tear it, all this kind of stuff. It just kind of everything that gets done automatically. All right, so let's start by declumping in the cup. Again, you gotta use the long needles. If not, it doesn't reach. But just kind of declump in there, get things going. Now when I put it into my portafilter, it's already declumped. You still got to do WDT, because that's going to help distribute the density of coffee everywhere the same. And it's like a second time that you're going through the coffee, make sure there's no clumps in it. So I think doing both WDT in here and in the portafilter, I think it's definitely helpful. And it's quick and easy, so why not, you know? If you don't do WDT, you're leaving it up to chance. Maybe you're a lot more likely to get channeling. So far you guys have seen that whatever it is I'm doing for puck prep is definitely working. Maybe today we get a bunch of channeling. I don't know. I hope not, because I don't want to do a whole bunch of cleaning, okay? But so far it's been working. And it's quick and easy, so why not, you know? Now, as far as a distributor, one of those leveler kind of things that you spin, yes, I want one. Yes, I'm probably gonna get one, but do I think you need it? No. If you're doing good WDT, I don't think you really need the leveling tool. All right, so let's get things going. Again, I've said it already a bunch of times. I know I need a tamping station. I don't like doing it this way here on the edge, but you know, it is what it is for now until I find the perfect one. I really want Passato to make me one. Okay, so everything's nice and dry and hot. With these lighter roast, you know, and grinding at 14, you know, or down from there, I've noticed that usually, you know, when it comes out a lot better in here. It's not like overflowing like you guys saw with the darker roast coffee. You got a little dust left in there. Okay, so now we use the dosing funnel so that we don't get a mess. And now we go to the thin needles from Passato. Definitely in the portafilter, I already said it and I called it, the Passato works better. The thin needles do help. It is easier, it is better. Let's face it. Still, I don't think it's a must. I think you can make it work with the thicker needles. If you want to save the money, for sure you can make it happen with the thicker needles, pretty roughly the same. This gives you a little bit of an edge. Okay, so give it a little tap. And now here's the bad part, okay? Because with the Passato tamper, I just cannot get the right feel and I can't get it level, no matter how hard I try. We'll see if I improve with time, but so far every time it's like really crooked, I have to really adjust it. You guys have seen with the tamper that came with my machine, the Lelit one, which by the way, I think is made by IMS. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's made by IMS. It's very precise. And when I tamp with that one, it just works. It's just completely flat every time, you know. I always check anyway, but it's always, there's nothing to adjust. It's always perfect. Okay, but with this one, because of this beveled edge here, it just always, I always end up being crooked. I could tell it's let me see. Well, you know, today I think I did better, but it's still not perfect. So I just kind of fix it a little bit. Little polish at the end. Okay, we got some nice puck prep. This looks really nice in there. You know, we'll see today, but if I keep getting the little channeling on the edge, I'm gonna say that perhaps with the tamper that came with the machine, maybe it's just a little bit more precise, or something's happening where it's tamping better on the edges than with the pasado. And with the pasado, I could be a little more likely to be getting that little bit of channeling on the edge. We'll see if it happens today. If it doesn't happen and I get a flawless shot, then, you know, again, they're roughly the same. It's just a matter of how it fits in your hand and how it works for you. So, you know, for me, it just, with this one, it just works better. Okay, the way I hold it, everything. But you give the pasado one to someone else, and maybe for them, that one fits right in their hand, and that's the one they like, and it works perfect. So, and again, it's beautiful. I gotta say, these pasado tools, I really love the way they look. They're pretty awesome. All right, so let's lock it in and pull our shot. Okay, now I gotta set up the cameras, get all the angles, and we'll see what we get today. Okay, so I think we're ready. I think I got all my camera angles, everything's going. Hopefully I got everything set up right. All right, so let's get the Akaya up there. So again, the Akaya just doesn't fail. You just get your cup up there, you know, everything always just seems to work flawless. All right, so let's start with the paddle at 5 o'clock like we always do. This being a lighter roast, I want to do a blooming, let's say, you know, today I'm going to try 20 seconds. 20 seconds, and then we'll try to get a shot in around 25 seconds. 25 to 30 seconds. So let's see what happens. Again, we got 18 grams in. We go with 45 grams out. Lately, I've been doing a 1 to 2.5 ratio. And let's see what we get today. Okay, so we want to keep it at around 2.5 bars. As soon as I hit 25 seconds, I'll start ramping up. Okay, here we go. We got first drip. Well, I did a really good job with the ramp up today. We're at 9 bars. I see how it hasn't come together yet. Oh, I think it just did. Okay, so again, this shot is going to be a little bit slow. I'm going to have to grind coarser. We're right at 9 bars. We're looking for 45 grams. Okay, we ended up 45.3 grams. Total shot time is the one on the machine, 79 seconds. And from first drip, 49 seconds after first drip. So that means we got a 30-second pre-infusion, at least until we got first drip, because I started ramping up. But so yeah, definitely I got to grind coarser. This is still a little bit faster shot than what we got from the Kona, but definitely I have to grind coarser. So let's just get it to the other counter and try it. Now, as far as channeling, I'm looking around up here on the counter and stuff, but I don't see any signs of channeling. I'll see once I look at the video back. I look very carefully and see if I see any channeling on the video, but there's no obvious signs of channeling here. I don't see any splashing anywhere or any little drops or anything. It looks really, really clean. Again, on top, it looks very pretty. Not as nice as the last one, but it does look very nice. Let me see if I can show you guys that. All right, so let me show you guys the shot. I'm pretty sure you could see that in there, but again, a nice, very pretty shot. I'm happy with the way it looks. I don't see any obvious signs of channeling. We'll take a look. You know, there's nothing on the scale. Everything's really nice and clean. So I think there was no channeling again, but I'll let you guys know next week. Anyway, let's get back to the other counter and taste it. All right, let's give it a nice swirl. aroma, okay? You know, in the aroma, I do kind of see like that like a honey kind of scent. Of course, that was suggested to me, but yeah, maybe. All right, let's try it. Cheers. Wow, that's great. Wonderful. No bitterness. No bitterness at all. As a matter of fact, quite smooth. And the level of acidity is higher in espresso than I got from the filtered coffee. Wow, that's pretty wonderful. I gotta say, a nice shot. The other one, the Kona, I kind of liked it better as espresso as well. And with this one, I'm gonna say the same thing. You know, it makes a nice filtered coffee, don't get me wrong. But wow, I've gotten kind of used to like, I think you do kind of get kind of spoiled. You know, you every now and then you have this one that just blows your mind. And then you're like, you know, everything else seems kind of like, you know, it doesn't live up to to what you're expecting maybe. I got more of it from espresso on both coffees so far. Wow, this is just nice, sweet, smooth, with a nice upfront hit of acidity, but then it smooths out and becomes sweet. No bitterness at all at the end. So nice, smooth finish. Great aroma. Wow, wonderful. Am I gonna say this Maui is better than the Kona? You know, I don't know. I don't know yet. I can't make that call. At the end, once I try all three, maybe I'll report back and tell you what I got from them. But for right now, I wouldn't say that this one's better than the Kona. I think I brewed it better. I think I did a better job with the timing with this one. And we'll see as I speed it up, because I am gonna speed it up more. Although I kind of have a feeling that, if I speed it up more, the acidity might become too much, at least for what I like. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, the little nuttiness is there, the sweetness. Maybe the sweetness you can attribute to raisins, perhaps. Pretty wonderful. All right, so let me tell you guys the story about the whole folding of the filter and why that became a thing. Okay, so if you look back on my channel, like way back, you will see that before I used to make, as far as my filtered coffee, it was on a dripper machine, regular automatic kind of dripper, you know, and it took those kind of filters. And then what happened was that, you know, I decided, as I got more and more down the rabbit hole of coffee making, okay, and I wanted to start controlling the temperature, controlling the timing. I wanted to control everything, okay? Like, that's what happens. You kind of want to get full control of what you're doing, of your process. So what happened was that, you know, I got my Tricklet, I got my Origami, I got my fellow Stag, the kettle, and then, you know, I stopped using the dripper, so I just made room for it and cleaned it out really nice, and I put it away. I still have it, but I put it away. So as I was cleaning up everything and organizing to make room for it and all that stuff, I ran into like a couple of those packs of filters of 100. Okay, so I don't know if it happens to you guys, but you know, sometimes you're at the supermarket, right, and you're going through the aisles, and then you're like, man, am I missing anything? Like, so you're by the coffee filters, you're like, wow, maybe I don't have too many filters, and you get a pack. And then you get home and you're like, oh man, I already had a pack. So now you got 2 packs. Before you know it, you have 2 or 3 of these packs put away. And that's what happened to me. So I found them and I'm like, oh my God, I got like 300 of these things. You guys know how I feel about wastage, okay? You know, they're only like $5 each or something. I don't know, $7 or something. I could just throw them out. I'm not going to do that. Okay, I have to find a way to make this work. Okay, so I experimented a little bit and I saw that it worked just fine. So now, you know, I was in the beginning just using my Oreo cone filters, you know, but then, you know, I didn't want to throw these things away. So, you know, eventually I tried it and I folded them a couple of ways and that's what worked best. And I saw that, I thought, you know, the drawdown was going to get really slow because of the folds and stuff. At least that was my intuition, that there's more paper there folded like that. So maybe it's going to slow down the drawdown a whole bunch. And I didn't want that to happen because I didn't want to grind like super coarse either. But I saw that didn't happen. It didn't happen. It just worked just fine. So, you know, I just started using them. So, you know, I think I'm like halfway done with them. I still have a whole bunch, but I will use them. And, you know, maybe that helps one of you guys. Because then I thought about it. You know, I've thought about it a couple times. I just hadn't made the video. But I thought about it like, you know, maybe somebody out there has to run to the store one day and this is all they have. So that now they'll remember, oh man, I can make this work. And you can make your nice pour over. You can turn that type of filter into a cone filter and you can still use it. So it works just fine. Almost done, one little sip left. Wow, as it cools, you do see it evolve. You see like some other kind of nuanced flavors coming in. Yeah, quite tasty. I gotta say, it might have had to do with the way I brewed it because I learned from the previous coffee, right? So I think I just did a little better job brewing these. But now I think this one, I kind of liked it a little bit better than the Kona. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about one of the comments that I received on the coffee that I made on the Turkish coffee video. On the Turkish coffee video, somebody left me a comment. I don't remember the person's name, but it's funny. Like, you know, sometimes I think that people just look at the thumbnail and they start watching the video and like 2 seconds later they're leaving you a comment and clicking off. Okay. Because they get triggered, they get mad. I'm like, man, it's only coffee. Like, what's the big deal? So this person, and you know, he has a point. It's not like I can't say that he's wrong. So he has a point. The person tells me like, man, what are you doing using a hand grinder when you have a perfectly fine niche right behind you? It doesn't even make sense. I was like, well, yeah, it doesn't make sense, but you know, we do this for fun, right? It's just for fun. That's all it is. I mean, I could have tried with the niche and see what happens, right? But I wanted to see what happens with the hand grinder. So I learned a couple things, right? As you do these kind of experiments, you learn, right? I learned that it takes about 8 minutes, right? New Forest Explorer told me, hey, 8 minutes, that's fine. That's how long it takes. So I learned that. So now you know, hey, if you're gonna grind this by hand, and you know the K Plus is quite fast. As far as a hand grinder, is really fast. So on some other hand grinders, I could see it easily taking you 12 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes of grinding. So is that a good idea? No, probably not. But as a fun experiment, you know, why not, right? Something else I learned from that video. I learned what my 0 point is, where the burrs are basically, they're locked. And then as you open it up, you start hearing the chirping. Okay, for me that happened at around, I don't know, 5 or 6 clicks. And by the time I got to 9 clicks, I think it was, there was no chirping. Okay, so I ground the for Turkish coffee at 10 clicks. So I got a bunch of data. I learned a whole bunch. So for me, that's a win-win, right? And it was fun. It's one of the funnest videos I've made so far. I really had fun making the Turkish coffee and some of the things that went on in that video. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It was fun. Okay, so as far as my Hawaiian coffee experiment, I gotta say, very tasty. We have one more to try, the one from Cal. That's the same region coffee that I brought back from Seattle from the Starbucks Reserve, and I thought it was wonderful. It was so sweet. That's a great coffee. So we'll see. We'll try that one next time. Sad to see you go, buddy. So man, yeah, some people they just I think they like are searching for some kind of, like, maybe he was searching for like how to make Turkish coffee. He runs into that video. He's like, man, I'm not gonna try to learn from this guy. Look at, he's using a hand grinder. He has a niche right behind him. Why would you do that? He just doesn't get it. You guys watching that have been following the videos pretty much since I started doing this kind of format. We just hang out. We hang out. It's just fun. It's just coffee. I mean, gosh, what's the big deal? Don't get mad. It's just fun. I'm here to try to keep you guys company once a week and hang out. Maybe we spend an hour or so talking. Yeah, the interaction between us is really what makes it worth it, because again, like making, filming myself week after week, making coffee is not a big deal to me, but I don't mind it at all. And I enjoy sharing with you guys and the back and forth that we have going on sometimes in the comments, and I get to know some of you guys. I think that's super cool. And if you guys want to reach out to me, and I'm very accessible. You guys can comment below the videos and I answer everyone. You can also reach out on Instagram, and I pretty much get a hold of me through there as well. So if you guys want to like show me a particular kind of brewer that you have, or maybe a certain kind of coffee that you received and you want to share it here in our little coffee club. If you want to send me a picture of your brew bar and you want me to share it here on the channel, comment below, and then maybe you can share it through Instagram or some other way. Maybe I'll create an email address so that you guys let me know if you guys are interested in that idea at all. You can send me a picture of either a different brewer that you're using, or a certain coffee that you just received that you think is spectacular, or even a picture of your brew bar, and we can kind of share it here in our coffee club if you like. I mean, let me know if you guys are interested at all in that. Then maybe I'll create like some kind of email address and share it with you guys, so that you guys can send me those pictures and we can share here and get to know each other here on our little coffee club. But anyway, I hope I was able to keep you guys company. I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. I look forward to the comments every single weekend. And if you see the video like a week later, 2 weeks later, I will still answer you. I get a notification when somebody leaves a comment, or it doesn't always work. I've noticed that I have gotten some comments where they're older videos and I don't get notified, and then I might see the comment like weeks later or something. But if you guys want me to see the comment, or you want to make sure that I receive it, send me on Instagram. For sure I'll see it there. But I really do appreciate you guys a whole bunch. Please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're still looking for that 1,000 subscribers so we can go live on YouTube, maybe one day. If that happens, I'll make sure to give you guys the date and time, and we're gonna go live for the very first time, and maybe some of you guys will join me for that memorable moment. From then on out, maybe I'll try to do like I'm gonna really try to do at least like one live video, something simple and shorter, not like this intricate and we're pulling shots and doing pour overs and all this kind of stuff. It just I don't think I can handle that, doing that live. But just something simple. I'll do like a little simple setup, and we'll go live, and I'll answer you guys' questions right there, right in the spot, and we can interact. And I think it'll be kind of cool. And what I would like to do is just make one of those live videos every week. So maybe we'll make it one day. If not, hey, it is what it is. We'll keep it in this format. As long as I'm having fun making the videos, I'll keep making them. And again, if you guys keep the interaction going and stuff, I think it is kind of cool, and I enjoy it a whole bunch. So for now, it is really fun. So anyway, guys, I hope I was able to keep you company. I hope you brew something tasty here with me, and I'll see you guys next week.